I like it. I guess that's what I was shooting for. So here I am as promised. And yes, I did the assignment, but I had to go. But my guides are perfect with timing. I am the time psychic, so absolutely, I had to wait till the 20th. So here I am, and um, I drew out. Oh, okay. So the people. Okay, so first of all, I recently did a video where it's both VP. Well, that means Vice President Kamala Harris, and then also the President Donald J. Trump, of course, candidate now, as is Kamala Harris. She is a candidatual, in the running, candidate running for presidency. But whew, it's a lot. she, whew. Now, I know that right now, to get this out, she is going through what I was told like weeks in advance. I was, prepped by the spirits, and they say that Kamala Harris is actually experiencing the ascent offering, which is that same ascent offering that Aaron did for the tribes of Israel. Of course, traditionally it's for the males, but the Spirit said that no respect of persons, and it is fitting. She is the eldest. Also, it's just a lot of metaphysical elements to it, and in other words, it states that like when you say, well, calling into question of leadership, she is excellent for leadership, and as the stars, of course, will provide for us information. Oh, lots of information here. And I'm only focusing on Kamala Harris. I had to break them up because otherwise this could go on for hours. But I do have everyone here. I've got, beautifully written. Roland Martin. Luckily, I had previous videos. I did the majority of both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump's charts, but I saved three for each of the both of them. So today is Kamala Harris, and then I'm only going to focus on Kamala Harris, and then in the next stream I'll do Donald Trump. So we'll do both, and I was observing Roland Martin, which is his chart is very interesting. His chart actually aligns very well with the concepts of Kamala Harris, like the elements that I'm noticing right off the bat is the Venus and the Moon elements here. Venus and the moon spaces here. He's very much connected in that Libra space. Kamala Harris has a great deal of influence as she approaches, November into the November 5th, I believe. A lot of Venus um, intricate elements, of course, that is advocating for her candidacy as well. Mercury elements here, nicely illustrated. A lot of dominant Mercury, Venus vibrations, like some of this on occasion, some of the same principles that I found in Roland Martin's alignment. Definitely, I could see that aligned very well with Kamala Harris. Now, that's not to say that Donald Trump does not have interesting parts, and so we will go over his, but we're going to go over his in another stream. So if I don't get started, well, okay, so first of all, let me go ahead and introduce myself. Just in case I need show and tell, I did grab my cards. um, so I am a psychic. I am world class. That means I work with people from all walks of life and all throughout the world, and both in the Eastern as well as in the Western. So Africa too, and just all over the place, anywhere. I work with people from just just all walks of life, and I love that. What else about me? I'm a 5 star, so my top rate. I'm rated very high, respected. I'm known for time frames, my predictions. What do I do for a living? Well, I of course interpret dreams for a living for others. I also predict the future for others as well, and more and more. Um, in I I was in so I don't know, my mind was wrestling. It was like psychic service or psychic services. So my TikTok says psychic is world class psychic services, and then here in YouTube it's world class psychic service. I believe I was wrestling with because I believe the fact that it's one gift, one spirit. So like people can't. I mean, they can suggest, but I don't need anyone to say, "Hey, I want this kind of reading. I want you to use this tool," or "I don't want you to use a tool at all." Like I don't do that. I'm like, it's like the doctor's office. I don't know what my spirits, or what it's going to take. I would use thin air if that's what would give me the answers to give you the ability to transcend the reading and go on and live a very powerful and unique life, individual life. So so I basically will get a feel for a person, because sometimes it doesn't require me to use tools. Sometimes, I have natural abilities, but sometimes people are like, yeah, I don't know if this is your opinion or if this is your personal feelings. Could you please use the tool? And so it's like, I'm so happy that, I get that luxury to be able to, address that. Like, I actually don't just read tarot cards because you ask me to. I need to get a feel for you, and then I can determine what type of reading I need, or what type of tool I need, or what the style I'm going to read, the method I'm going to read for you, based on like the question and how we vibe, in that way. So that's how I utilize the tools today. Well, today it's more about my findings in and astrological spaces, so in astrology, in other words. And of course, I have a very unique way that Spirit told me how to do it, and that's why they're always accurate. So if you go and listen, I mean, right now my videos play in loop in my mind. I'm like, wow, and I'm still in awe how it plays out, and people use catchphrases and words that I actually stated, like hours, because it happens when I say things. It happens the next day. By the way, it happens so fast. I'm like, already? It's like already out, already happening. So right now, my clients are very happy. They're living their lives and they're expanding, they're growing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take the time. Somebody tried to catch me at the time I was logging out, and I said, no, this is so far important, too far important. So I didn't receive that client. I had to be out of there on time so that I could, work on my formulas, because this is a formula. But then when I first have to fall, I have to translate it into the way that Spirit will have me do it. This is the formulae, matrices, blah blah blah, and then I have to interpret all of that into words to read. And it's very meticulous, very. And through all the research of what this means and that means, then I come up with a ton of information. Oh, yes. So this is another long one. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and roughly six and some change. Since like 2 paragraphs. Oh yeah, pages, just for Kamala Harris, just for her, Vice President Kamala Harris. I want to say President Kamala Harris so bad, but I know I have to look at this astrologically, and read as is, despite, because my prediction, by the way, regardless of how I feel about it, or my moral objectives, or my ethic, or my empathy, which is tied to ethics, separate from compassion, sometimes even regardless of how I personally feel in the realm of understanding compassion, the prediction is still going to play out the way that universe intended it to, the way that it was meant to, or the way that the whoever I'm working with intends to make it happen. So what else? Okay, so I talked about Kamala Harris. She's right now, right at this moment, as I'm interacting with you all, and this whole process, like at least for over a week or 2 weeks or some week and a half, she's actually have on this ascent journey. So, and I was told by spirit, more of the angelic spirits, they were saying, exclaiming that uh, she's actually being blessed through the ascent offering, which I will read. That's in Leviticus. I believe it's no, not Leviticus. Yeah, it's in Leviticus, like Leviticus. I believe either 23 or 24. It's one of the two. Anyway, regardless, I will find it and I will. I wanted to do that separate because I have a thumbnail idea for it. Oh yeah, so we're gonna go into the Bible again. And of course, you already know that I've been talking about how uh, Democrats have actually, since the beginning of this whole like back and forth between red and blue, have actually have the theme with Democrats have been the word hope, leading all the way up. Of course, Kamala Harris, of course, carrying the torch for hope, but also Tim Walz, and his that word hope coming up, and also his daughter's name is Hope. But hope has been the sounding voice of what Democrats are standing for. But of course, now it is expanded, so we're gonna get into it because I was very careful and meticulous to write it out. I was in this space where I could channel the information. So I was pulling on vibration. People are like, let me on. For some reason, whenever I do this, people are like reaching for, like, let me in on this. I'm like, no, 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 no. Back, 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 back. You have your time. Not when this is as serious as this. This is too serious. And of course, the same due diligence that I apply with Kamala Harris's chart, the same I will do with Roland Martin's chart, with Donald J. Trump's chart. Why Roland Martin? Well, because uh, he actually is doing great work. So, and I see it, and so this is a way of observing a specific demographic in media and how that correlates and connects with Kamala Harris, her run. So definitely, I said, I believe it had been like a little over a week ago. I said, I was kind of like just in here, kind of fooling around. I said, well, I'm actually have some big lives coming up with big information, and but I'm not gonna. I can't really start until the 20th. Well, here we are. It's the 20th, so so that's what has brought me to this. And I've also have some other great news so far as the channel growing and what do I intend to do with it. I Right now I am linked with a process that's going to really uplift the channel. So I'm on my way. I'm on my way to some of the videos are actually, they have ads running on them already. And I'm only imagining that some videos I will be privating, but as you know, because it's going to become more professional uh, over the next months, I'm imagining. I imagine it's all in my brain. It's kind of been told to me by spirit, and because yes, I'm going to be moving ever closer to monetization. So right now, I'm studying um, another little. I'm at my last space. It's like I studied everything at the ground level. Now it's here, and so there's a lot of information I can't even begin until I am monetized. So it's glowing. Now this is my elevated portion of, because I am contributing to humanity. I'm still here on the earth as everyone else. I'm like telling everybody, yeah, you're getting your autonomy, your individuality, you're launching. Yeah, this is mine. So I have it. I just need to now take the step forward with it, and it involves a financial investment. So there you go. So I just want to make sure I get it right. And there's a few pieces of information. I just want to make sure that whenever I make this hit, that it's going to go exactly where it's supposed to go. So I need to like let them know that there's been a change in names, things like that. Like it was master psychic, now it's world class psychic service, and which I think is fitting. It's fitting. Of course, I can always share my name. And of course, it's in my handle, Isaiah Donald Donnell, Donald Reed. The UK, I always say Donald. Of course, they say Don. They like to say Donnell, Donnell. But I like to say Donald. And they say, "Is it Donnell or Donnell?" I was like, either way. They say it to me like three different ways. I'm like, it's either way. I like them all. I say Donald because it's simple, it's quick, and I'm like ready to go. So with that, without further ado, oh by the way, now I have to digress a little bit. I don't follow the marketed astrological dates, so I go by the dates that's provided through astrophysicists and NASA. You already know that, right? So Kamala Harris is a Virgo. Roland Martin is a Libra, okay, and Donald J. Trump is a Taurus. Now I know you all say, no, 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 but actually you should look up the dates provided by NASA and astrophysicists, and that's why my information is going to be accurate, especially when I go to talk about what's going to happen in the future. If I say it's very specific month or date in a month, or like first half of the first week of a month, or the last half of the month, or 3 weeks, yep, 3 weeks in, very specific months or a year. That's why, or the seasons. That's why my information comes up accurate. That's why I'm known as a time psychic. So okay, so she's a ooh boy, I'm gonna be here for a while if I keep going this route. So Kamala Harris, the Virgo. I was looking at her Venus, which I noticed that there's a lot of Venus activity actually going happening in all three. Um, and that's her connection with people, so there's a lot of social elements going on right now, and which I love because we're already feeling that impression. Okay so July, since mid-July, what you may have noticed that you have felt like you were being given every opportunity, and it's almost you want to pinch yourself and say, is this real? Is this really going to happen for me this time? Can I really like make this my dream, my vision come to pass? Is it possible, or is it just a trick of the universe? The universe going to throw a monkey wrench, or it's always the raising of the bar, or somebody's going to block it? Or we're going to be told no, the door opportunity going to shut it in our faces. Well, I'd like to announce that no, actually, the individuals voluntarily they step out of the way, and I'll explain why in a little bit. But the obstacles that in the past were in the way are no longer there. So it's a very clear path, and it's a path of light. And you are a light, or as I am a light, and the people who were blocked also their path is unblocked so that the lights may magnetize towards each other. So you have all of these interesting people reconnecting and reconvening in their conversation socially and drawing together, and people who were unlikely joining in the soul group. Like Kamala Harris says she's actually going to bring in a Republican to serve in her cabinet, things like that, and actually working also across, as she puts it, across the aisles. These are people where usually there would be somebody in the way saying, oh, no, no, you better, like, no, you can't, but now they have to go chase. Okay, hence these people, if we are a block for others, we have so much going on in our own lives now that's finally caught up. It's like, how do people find the time? I don't have the time. Well, universe created the time for such individuals to now go out and take care of Like, look, you have life, your own life to live, rather than bombarding on others. So that's why in all forms, it could be something, it could be a good thing. Like, it doesn't mean that they have to go and suffer, like, now they let them go deal with their own stuff. No, it could be that good things, things that they need to, like, structural wise, these things they need to hold up, and they don't have time to be a stop sign for other people who are just trying to progress in their own journeys, right? They have a journey to progress in, and they may have things and assets and things that they value, people they value, they need to support and protect and things like that. So the universe sort of factored that into their equation and also factored them out of our path, if need be. But it also allows for us to gravitate to people who will progress as we progress. Like, so it's a very mutual benefit going on here, which you'll hear that a lot through Kamala Harris. And this is how I find out, like, 'cause I do this for the sake of how does well, in this specific case instance, Kamala Harris, how does her astrological story align with the story that's in the world? Um, so that's what we're observing today, but in greater detail. And nonetheless, so the Venus is in the house two. Like, her, by the way, her Kamala. When I say her, I mean Kamala Harris. Her Venus is dominant right now. Venus is dominant. Venus is doing a lot of things, right? So Venus is in everybody's astrological pool because it's so much connected, or so much going on with the universal consciousness, right? So it's like she's doing her fair deed. And her tarot card is Venus, I mean, is of justice and balance, right? And her I just always think of Jupiter and Venus working together, like a father daughter, like partnership. And so you've got have both of them, doing business things, which we're going to also tackle, which also aligns with. It's just beautifully said how the universe, was spelling this out. Well, anyway, let's go through Venus first. So Venus is, um, of a partnership, companionship, pleasure. Pleasure is and pleasure and stimulation is really associated. I mean, it's like one of uh, Kamala Harris' superpowers. Come to finding out, yeah, there's a lot that I recognized, reading her astrological charts before, and it's a lot. But this one is like so in depth, and I'm like, oh my gosh! I was like, so it was only like it was only like maybe like two spots, so I had to, like, okay, let me craft this correctly, the way that I feel comfortable with stating it. But yeah, yeah. So it says Kamala Harris uh, tends to, or will also prosper through social connections. That's what we were just talking about. I was noticing that through social connections, this Venus aspect allows for Kamala to really prosper, which you're going to hear that a lot. She's associated with prosperity and abundance. Mhm. But also, if it, I don't know if to any constellation, we'll just say that to any constellation, with all respect, you know, um, she will also prosper within her marriage. She'll prosper in her artistic and political pursuits. Therefore, business ventures with a partner, which I'm thinking like Tim Waltz, and many others, of course, are going to become quite lucrative 2025. And as I was writing that, I was thinking, yeah, that Republicans are aligning with her because they're going to they're going to align with a lucrative partnership for sure, business wise, and also because of, I'm pretty sure, because of values, the thing, the democracy and the believing, and and what's the right direction for um, our country, our America, United States of America. But yeah, lucrative partnership, 2025. So they even gave it a number. They gave it a date. which is the year of marriage. Okay, so 2025. Okay, so this is 2024 is the year of resources, and 2025 is a year of marriage, partnership, companionship, the human heart. You'll hear me say that a lot. 2025 represents the year of the human heart. Back to emotional things. So this year has been very dense, very material. This is the year of business. You're in partnership, but you're of business to business. So business to business, partnership represents you giving concessions, you things like that, like very methodical, very structural, and about like launching for your independent directions in your careers, things like that. And also uh, it does represent more aligned with, as we were approaching this month of October, so this last 3 months, because it's already emanating from 2025, people are already like eyeing, they're vying for their relationships also, the partnerships. So they're aligning with emotional partnerships, right? The same as kind of like in the same nature as partnerships that are business in nature, because this is what they call it. They are dedicating themselves into the 2025, which partnerships around this time that are forged or are surviving and have crossed or crossing over, let's say into November, will definitely have something to celebrate, because this could represent a confirmation that these romantic, emotional connections are actually long term, and we'll be, of course, bringing in 2025. I love speaking on this one. So the year of marriage, partnership, and companionship. Okay. Money. Okay, so this sign represents money. So her focus is the economy, basically. Economy, but not just like the wellness of living, lifestyle, well-being, the quality of living a life. Like she understands what goes. I already read, to cheat a little bit. She understands like what makes a home, what a home should look like, what it should feel like. Don't worry, I wrote it all out. So I'm just tapping it right now. And then like um, like what, like the needs of people to sustain their image, like to really feel like they're living life and that they feel free and they're feeling the liberty, they're feeling like their work is rewarding, like life is rewarding. And now she has that, and she desperately wants, she cannot understand how how we are failing in this. She cannot comprehend whatsoever, which people said, kind of skipping ahead a little bit, people, it said that it described her as being a bit detached. And only reason why they state it that way is because she cannot understand how, like, because there's so much, she knows that like she says all the time, the innovation's there, the talent is there, the skills are there, the tenacity is there, the power is there, the money is there. It's like just making it happen. It's not like how to, like, it's not how, like, she's like, she already has a plan. She says she's got a plan to make it happen. How to make it accessible. hmm so the next word I use is, oh yeah, and the pleasures, like, just to, like, life can be very pleasurable, and she loves, like, she's okay with saying that too. Abundance, prosperity, hope, um, for a better future. Okay, this one says, uh, oh, and of course, she's very concerned with the financial health and stability among women. Okay. Okay, so raising the karmic balances through the scales of Venus. Okay, so yeah, she's setting the balance straight into uh, like the higher awareness, the age. So this is the self-awareness age, age of Aquarius, higher awareness in the 3D realm. So it's like bringing these concepts, kept conceptualizing, right? Theory. Now it's time to get with the facts. Some, as she says, and by the way, she says that, look, it's all about the facts, and it goes into how, like, why, like, she's analytical, and the astrology is expressed. This is her her Mercury in Virgo, by the way. That's what gives her these powers. So I'm a bit enamored. So good points. It says that she's very generous. Oh, by the way, the Holy Spirit. Um, uh, so Jesus Christ said to me, but the Holy Spirit is gifting Kamala Harris as she assumes the space of. See, the debate is going to be held in the constellation space, in the astral realm of Leo, and it's a very generous sign, very giving sign. And but the gift of giving is located because she needs to take the space because that's where the power is, and she has to think of it. Well, of course, she's going to think of it that way because that's the power that allows her to do the things that she intends to do economically for people, for others. Okay, so it's like so generosity. The gift of giving. That's her spirit. That's her Holy Spirit gift. Because there's many Holy Spirit gifts, but hers is the gift of giving. But this is also, well, Donald J. Trump, right? President Donald Trump, he has also the gift of giving. But what do we know about the gifts? Just because you have the gift doesn't mean you use it correctly. Because after all, it is your gift. And guess what? Even if you don't use it correctly, even if you use it selfishly, guess what? The Holy Spirit does not take back gifts that Spirit gifts to us. So that means if you're gifted if when Holy Spirit gifts you a gift, yeah, you misuse it or you don't use it at all. Holy Spirit doesn't come and take it away from you. No, not at all. And but you can also seek gifts. And she has gifts, but particularly she's going to be gifted in this area, in this gift of giving, the spirit of giving through the Holy Spirit. And so, yeah, the gift of giving. Along when I say the gifts, that's along with like the gift of wisdom, the gift of knowledge, the gift of prophecy, the gift of tongues, the gift of tongues of the nation, but all of those things, the gift of faith, etc. There's also the gift of giving, and yes, and she's acquiring the gift of giving. In fact, there are lots of elements that Donald J. Trump and Kamala Harris actually in the space they share, but as one occupies a space because only one can be in that space in the seat of Jupiter, which is the Oval Office where that seat aligns with Jupiter. And by the way, her Jupiter is advocating for her big time, by the way. And because there's so much alignment going on here. And so she ends up in the space or taking on the space and doing the works in this uh Leo space. She was doing the work in that space in the seat of Jupiter. So so then it goes into points. Oh, fair, which is justice. So justice, her credentials, as you know, um, honest in financial dealings. By the way, I have people were saying that some predictions were going to come out where about uh, what either Donald, well, both Donald J. Trump and Kamala Harris about misappropriating funds. And I said no, nothing, because they both are generally honest in that place. I know that sounds funny because considering he's in legal troubles but I mean like documents and sound. They said documents and sound recordings and things like that coming out, and I said no. Only like discrepancies, like working with like foreign entity that happened, and I so like other kinds of like things that are said about them, things that have to do with people and like leaders, and then of course what come up, other things like certain things that come up. So I said that in the live where I'm talking. That's the one where I did the astrological reading for Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump. That's the first one. But now this one is just See, I read all of their formulas except for three per per candidate. So it was like it's equal. So I have three to read for. I have three formulas to unravel for Kamala Harris, and I have three formulas to unravel for Donald J. Trump. So that's in the other video. So this is the one that's kind of like wrapping up that um, wrapping up that the formula or the astrological session for each of for both of them, I guess. Um, so let's see what else, what else, what else. Oh yes, and Venus is a constant, or in other words, it's my way of saying that, right? Like for Kamala Harris chart is dominant. Um, creativity, or creative is like like boundless when it comes to her. And because yes, create. Okay, so Donald J. Trump always he's like a money magnet. He literally has a horseshoe for a heart, and probably has four leaf clovers for toes. Like there's like three, four different directions, and planets that forward him income, money and luck with money, and in different ways and scenarios. And likewise, Kamala Harris, she has a great deal like creativity and to utilize that creativity to create prosperity and wealth and abundance. So she has that abundantly from many directions, which you will find and hear about in this session. And both of them, by the way, have opulent lifestyles. So there's no issue there. And what we already mentioned earlier, it starts out where quite fond of wealth and money. And by the way, all of her readings in both sessions say she loves the fine things in life, the finer things of life, you know. So, but she says, I have all those things. I want everybody else to have all those things. So she's receiving the gift from the Holy Spirit. The gift of giving is like, I want everybody to have these opportunities, to have the life that is real. It's real to me. I'm living it. I want other people to live it, and that hope that yeah, like wow, like if you really can do this, oh yeah, I want to be a part of that. So then it goes on to say that an ability to use beautiful resources from 2020-2024 profitably. Mm-hmm. She, like yes, and she, of course, she, loves, okay, this is probably more from the Libra, like the ambiance, like what people wear, the fashion, like she wants people to look good, like decorating and galleries. I mean, like galleries, like art galleries. Like she knows how to like really create and platform for success. She does. She does. Socially, she's going to flourish. In fact, they say through her marriage and of course socially, she will benefit tremendously. Like prosperity will always reach her. She has endless ideas to share. Okay, so extravagance is part of our world. The love of luxury, expensive possessions. We hope so. Uh, um, she has to embrace she's got the willpower. She's got the willpower. And by the way, willpower is part of a formula. Yeah, because okay. They said that she has. Okay, so she has all of the parts except one word, and I don't want to say it just yet. I'll get there. So, but yeah, they mentioned something about willpower, balance by the gifts of giving by the Holy Spirit. So she had her okay. So she had a. They said that honestly, they said that she has willpower challenges. However, that's balanced out by the Holy Spirit who gives the gifts, right? The gifts of the Spirit, which hers is the gift of giving, which then her like there's a reason. So now through her willpower, and then it goes into uh okay, it says once okay, so the willpower okay, in the essence of wanting everyone to become enticed, right? Because she's very much about like causing people to sense and sensitivity and connect in that way. where enticed to living full complete lives in abundance and bring joy, hopeful joy, like hope and joy, hopeful joy, synonymous words that they have you that she's using a lot. Okay, so the moon in Sagittarius, so let's take a look at that. Sagittarius is a big deal, by the way, and the moon really does a number in her chart. So we're going to read into that. So the moon in Sagittarius, she talks of optimism. Is here it says great optimism and an expansive expression, sense of self, and a fantastic writer. Allows her to be a fantastic writer. She knows how to write, and she's eloquent to say those words, what she says as well. Moon, and then the moon in the house 5. And this is, remember, there's a lot going on in Leo. She has to embrace those qualities in Leo. By the way, it's unfair for us to say, oh, you're this sign, so you act like this. Remember, we have to look at all signs, but not just the 12 that we know of, the additional. So the 13, we got to look at all 13, the one that we've studied and know of. So 13, all of them. A ficus is the 13th one, and all of them apply to us in some way or another. That's what makes you you, different from all other people in your signs above all else. And so the moon in the fifth house, dealing with emotions and instincts, right, impulsive. We know that she's quick on her toes, always ready to go. About love, um, I think that's she has a great love. I bet for as what she says, her work has been in law enforcement and attorney general and lawyer and all, like that is her focus. That's yes, that is her neighborhood. That's her home. That is her life path, and now it's guided her to place, of course, places of power. Now in vice presidency, on her way to becoming president. Okay, so uh, following your heart rather than the head. Oh, yeah, she follows her heart rather than her head. And this context is everything. She would say, context. Yeah, because she's got it upstairs. We already know that. The ability to act um, on compassion. So that's what that means. Heart besides the head, like she says, unconscionable. The word that she used, unconscionable, right? Because she says, what about compassion? And by the way, over empathy. Empathy, that's a tricky one. Don't be tricked by empathy versus compassion. Two different words. Like uh, uh, compassion and empathy are just as different as as effect and affect. Okay. Though similar, they have some similar elements. Okay, so compassion and empathy is sympathy that connects the two, even understanding, except empathy represents to walk in the shoe of another person. You should only be doing that for an excellent source, not for everybody. You don't want to walk the shoe with everybody because you don't need to. Because in this one, with the compassion, it's the understanding and to the ability to act. Because your empathy is based on the normalities. Empathy is the understanding what it is in the normality, what is been indoctrinated or assumed or adopted through your upbringing. So through upbringing or through your training, like ethics, because empathy then leads into ethics. You can have those things interchangeably and have no connection to compassion because it just means to understand. Now, when you bring in compassion, that's a step forward. That's now saying, okay, I not only understand, I don't need to like pretend I know how tight your shoes are on my feet to understand that you need new shoes. I need to get you new shoes. We need to figure out like how can we get you new shoes? Let's get you new shoes. Come on. That's compassion. While empathy can mean Oh, I bet those feet hurt. I was there once, or whoa, I never would want to be there, but imagine those shoes hurt. But some places or areas that you might say you don't ever get people out of a bad jam. You never get them shoes. You let them figure it out. When they realize how bad their feet hurt, they'll go and get them some shoes. And that might be the ethics there, which that is the empath. That's empathy there. So the ability just to connect and understand. So, but doesn't mean to do the action of anything compassionate. Okay, so, but she's saying, she's using the word a lot more with the specifically compassion, because empathy is a special word. So how do we, since I made it sound negative just a minute ago and very artificial, and I don't like to be problematic, but empathy is problematic in itself, because of what it actually means, in the world and the way it's used secularly, and also, not only secularly but also in psychology. With that said, when we use it for what it's meant to, we say that empathy is reserved for, as I stated, for a much more higher source. I would set match it to like something like a god. I was like walking in the shoes of Jesus. It would be the proper use of empathy. Empathize with Jesus. Empathize with a saint. Empathize with a leader. Perhaps. And that's like, if you say a leader, as in what kind of leader? I mean, like somebody who you trust as a mentor. But I'm like very lightly saying that, very lightly. I'm even saying maybe not even that. I'm more saying, well, maybe not even that. Maybe I am saying just only gods and people who are ascended only. Then the rest is like compassion is for the world, and leaders on the earth are of the world. And plus, compassion is more of what people are asking for anyway, because that's the one that's going to get them their needs met. You can have empathy all day, but if you do nothing about it, is that truly, yeah, it's empathy, but is it compassion? No, because they're two different things. So pleasure in life translates, into abundance. So whenever we use the word pleasure in this, it does mean they say enjoy the fruits of the world. That's what the fruits are there for. Pleasure is meant to be enjoyed. But it translates as abundance in life, which is sought by Kamala Harris. Yes, he wants to bring about the mindset shaped for abundance. Like the concept of it. Beautiful. And okay, so marriage is meant to be. Oh yeah, her marriage is always going to be public. By the way, 2025, you'll see it. You'll see a lot. People are going to looking at things differently about marriage, and unions and partnerships, and hers are going to be for public view, of course. Children, oh yeah, her children will be famous. Well, yeah, okay. That was an easy one. Um, okay, so romantic thinking, creative intellect, innovation. So yeah, she has innovation. Um, very protective of love of life, LOL. So love of life. uh, um, Children and democracy and allies. Of course, we know who are the devotion. So they have to be devotion or and loyalty. Um, and then this is where I got what's missing. The part that's missing. What's the one part that exceeds it all? That where it just thrusts is trust. Trust. Let's get into it. Trust. Oh yeah. Oh, she also loves the American people. LOL, the American people. That is love of life, by the way. So I wrote a little note here. Observe trust. So let's look at it. When do I well when do I talk about it? Oh yeah, okay. I talk about it in this next paragraph. Kamala Harris. Okay, so I'm comparison what we call we're looking at the synchronicity between the moon and the sun for her. And so the best parts that they talk about is well integrated personality, adaptable to others, tends to have a harmonious home life. Yep. Oh yeah, and she's going to get a promotion, by the way. She gets Kamala Harris is going to get a promotion. So I believe that has ties to vice presidency into 2024 presidency, bringing 2025 as newly elected president of the United States of America. The other section of this says we'll have like okay, so there are inner conflicts about the self, a little bit of insecurities, but this is stemming from this is actions. Actions are contradictory, so that's where the trust comes in. So, yeah, it says that like contradictory elements, fickle a bit. It's in her constellations, and but it gives a resolve. It says emotionally she becomes very sensitive in this area because it's not what people think it is. When others they miss it says misplace curiosities where loyalty uh, uh, line aligns or lines are drawn where loyalty lines are drawn. So it's like when people question, if we like flip flop or if she's you know uh, like a fickle or whatever you want to call it, contradictory. It's like it's like a hot button that says, "What you questioning my loyalty, my dedication to the greater cause, for the greater good." So yeah, so but it goes answering a little bit more specific, like what the remedy is though. It says, however, she is thank goodness she's like she's stubborn and she's not gonna like let that get to her, and she's very self-willed. So and so it says allows seemingly trust to be a bit unbalanced. So that this is where people may sometimes see as like, can we it's like yeah, we have hope, but can we trust you, can you really make this happen? It says a bit one-sided personality, which are deep rooted habits stemming from the age of Capricornus, humanity, experiences, trust. So we have to go on and talk about that. So now we're going into that section about what it's going to take to like get the ball over the hill where it's rolling down on the other side of the hill, not rolling back on us. So this is where it goes into the Virgo, excuse me, yeah, the Mercury in Virgo elements. So let's dive in. Okay, so I'm gonna have fun with this one because this is saying like her brilliance. It speaks to her brilliance. A fine analytical quality to the mind. Kamala Harris deals grounding herself in facts, and she said that. And that's exactly what she said. She says, "I'm more rooted in. I'm about the facts." And this is look, fine analytical quality to the mind. Kamala Harris deals grounding herself in facts. Before she makes up her mind, she must know all sides of the question, getting all the information available in order to analyze it. Once she's formed a theory, Kamala Harris uh, is quite convinced it is the truth. Then onward, or thenceforward, the expected reality to conform to her ideas rather than the other way around or vice versa. So, yeah. So like once her mind is made, like once she has the truth, I mean, she doesn't veer off the truth. And in that sense, she's 100%, and then she does not waver and she's not fickle, but she says certain things. Like there was a question that was asked to her about reparations and how she felt about it, and she says it needs further analytical study. Not just like really like just no, she needs to, like, because she needs to see the truth of it, the facts. She needs to go with the facts. And so Yeah, she says it's like, so that's what this is saying, rather than the other way around. Uh, okay, this is the part where, furthermore, she doesn't like people who like go solely based on like where there's a lot of errors, human errors, or like it's just not really great thinking work. And here's what that say: Kamala Harris cannot intellectually tolerate others who are sloppy in their thinking, and she does not understand human failings. We talked about that earlier. Like, why did we fail? Like, why we can't be prosperous? Why we can't get this right? And like, sloppy in thinking would mean, okay, we moved so hastily and got it all wrong about our approach to not that reparations is a bad thing, but our understanding, our approach. And when we went head in and without with little study, we made it, maybe we make matters worse. Maybe we send people up and it didn't help, and instead it made only more confusion. So yeah, so like she thinks like that. It says, hence a great need to share her viewpoints, hope and abundance and prosperity for distant futures and others in addition. So her goal is, okay, let's think substantial increase or abundance or long-term effects rather than short-term ones. Okay, you short-term fixes, not always good. Well, let's think about long-term fixes and corrections. It says this, okay, so this is a detachment that a lot of people don't won't understand. And this is why, oh, you're fickle or double-minded, or like, what else they said, uh contradictory, things like that, flip-flop. Okay, well, this is why they say it. They said, there's a detachment, is what make Kamala Harris an excellent scientist, researcher, teacher, and reporter. They don't understand the work that is like they're calling it before the scientific parts that go in research, the teaching part, the reporting part, the debates that she says oftentimes, I can't talk about that right now. I'm doing something, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. No. So like like we get the privilege to not to have to look at that part. Okay, so Kamala Harris says, Kamala Harris learns very quickly and memorizes long pages of material, if it doesn't show already. She has an eagerness to take on much work or many projects, and others will misunderstand as her Virgo vibrations, right? Actually, um, how her Virgo vibrations actually work. Those types of Virgo types have these crazy schedules where they take on a lot and they work long hours and it's like they're like the energy. Remember when people used to say you're like the Energizer bunny? That bunny that played the Energizer, or the Energizer bunny, I bet is a Virgo. They work long hours and they study and research for hours. And they do like multiple intricate layers of intellectual activity, and where they are on their feet for hours. So, and people don't understand that because a lot of us are going to be like, you can't do all of that. You can't do all that by yourself, and you can't possibly know all of that type, because that's a lot of reading, and that's something I wouldn't do. So, but we're not her, and she is herself, and we are not. I mean, we're all one, connected, but we all have our individual paths, and this is her path. So yes, she actually does. She operates that way, which is associated with her sign. Types of schedule. It says, of course, may become a bit. She can become high strung, Hypercritical. I've seen that at some of the points. Yep. Um, but however, possessing superb talent for creativity, crafts later, or innovative exploits. So, yeah, it's just that she likes to be well studied and well progressed and have very well programmed well placed programs and things like that. Mercury in the house of the third house, which is Gemini, says this about her. Once again, with the planet of the mind, states Kamala Harris is alert in mannerism, so she's very alert, which allows her to be quite witty, which that makes her also enjoyable. Very versatile in handling both people and projects, practical and efficient, coping with details. We talked about that in the first sessions, where there are details that would make us shudder, and she handles those details, quite sensitive details, very well. Like secrecy, not a problem. Not a problem. Uh, Wit is what draws people to her. Yep, and her humor. She actually has humor, and not destructive humor. She has like there's humor, and then there's like Saturn dry humor. Saturn dry humor that this year it came across as skepticism, and it was assigned with something going on with Saturn and the I believe the fifth house, and it went so when people were like trying to, well, they'll be humorous, but you could tell that they were trying to hurt. So it wasn't humor. It wasn't humor at all. It was like more like it was cynicism, cynicism. That's what that came across as. It was much. That was months ago, and it was like that's why a lot of people were like, well, people were like to their, if you want to say their leadership, they were like, well, back to you, like, this, but just fill in, draw it in, pencil it in, and like, so it says, what else? Oh, she is eloquent in expressing herself. Yes. Curious, logical, intelligent, sociable. Yes. A bit a nervous warrior, indecisive. That's the issue with the trust. Apt to quarrel. Yes, of course, of course, of course. But how does universe balance those things? So the Mercury and the Sun says the Sun and Mercury are always. Oh yeah, okay. It's talked about the conjunct. She is not. She thank goodness she's not narrow minded. She doesn't have a like extreme narrow view of the world, but she is very linear thinking. But she's not like rigid and dogmatic and a bit like just straight up narrow minded. Her mindset, which that's a good thing. That's her Mercury and Sun correspondence work together quite nicely. So I bet at certain times maybe, but like not coming into the world like just straight up like I have one viewpoint. Oh gosh, we would be in so much trouble if her mind was like this and not like the so Neptune is a lot of good things for Neptune and Libra. So then we'll get into a little bit more lighter conversation. So a romantic sign, justice, democracy for humanity rests in a universal collective consciousness, emphasizes idealism and compassion, universal love, autonomy, liberty, Libra, liberty, Libra. 2025 is the year of the human heart. It taps to socially perform amazing right actions. So this is about right actions. Um, it says with lasting effects for generations, seek harmony, yet balance, and set directives for justice in the world. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Yes. Set directives for justice, lasting effects. Yes. Kamala Harris. Um, Setting the trend um, in a movement for permanent liberties resting in autonomy, one zone. Yes, universal love is compassion over empathy and any day of the year. Okay, and her presidency is the meaning of resistance to inequality, but most important, inequity. So there's equity and then there's inequity. Resistance to or for inequity. Remember, her presidency is about prosperity, abundance, things like that. The liberties to like in happiness pursuits and pursuits to empower and improve and to capture that what she refers to as the American dream to revive in this revive the American dream. Uh, the Oh yeah, and the United Nations was founded under democratic presidency. Yep, that's true. Spiritually, Neptune represents the church, by the way. And she was in church for her birthday. uh, this is a shift in ideals as we emerge in 2025. A shift in ideals. Um, this age brings a new questioning of values of marriage with a resultant, or yeah, there was a result of course, people. So people have like broken away from people who they maybe started out life with, maybe as soulmates, etc. Maybe they got married, maybe they were just together for a long time. They had children, but then they branched out from that occasion. Still fantastic parents, and everything in their life experiences validated 100%, but in search for happiness and love specifically. Partnerships included. So this also includes, like when you say, why did my job let me go? Why did my employer let me go? I'm like, they're best. Like they need me. They know they can call me on anything. They know I can do I do even a manager's position. Like, why would they like let the best go? Or like, why do I feel like I want to leave them? Because I feel underappreciated. Maybe it's overwhelming. It's underwhelming. Like, I'm just not excited. I'm not there anymore. And they just work me. And I make the money's great, but I want more. That's where this is coming from. Yep. Yep, there's a shift, and we're questioning the value of, like they say, I'm questioning the value, is it really worth it? Like my happiness over, maintaining, this connection to whatever that structure is. Am I truly living life to the fullest of my capacity? Hence, that's why this last portion has been to seeking independence in all its form, even if it's independence for like in Kamala Harris' case, her independence is to be able to do more in her industry, which requires her to step into presidency. Okay, and to take the power within that space. So, a magnetic attraction of the opposites in ideals. With willpower and determination. So that's the second part of the formula is determination. Willpower was the first part of the formula. Determination is the second part of the formula. Um, Kamala Harris gains the trust necessary to exceed all one's expectations for her presidency. So the answer is willpower plus determination equals trust. So that's what, and in fact, that is a mantra. Willpower and plus determination equals trust. Willpower and my determination will bring will bring me trust. Willpower and determination will bring me trust. That is like, say that 7 times, 7 times 7. That is your mantra. Kamala Harris said, is your mantra. Willpower, determination, trust. Willpower, determination, trust. Willpower will bring me, willpower with my determination will bring me the trust I need. Willpower and determination, people will trust in me because I like willpower and determination get meet the needs, and people will trust in me. That the mantra. That's the mantra. The planet. Okay, so she has this a wonderful ability, right? Um, it's associated with Neptune, which is there is an idealized picture of what a home life should be like, look like, feel like, function like, etc. Vaguely is dissatisfied with like as it stands, as is, what it actually is or what it looks like, what it is, like right, like wanting to do more. Like I know what it has all the potential to be. Hence, she's really into this whole real estate thing. Where she's saying she wants to go in there. Where she says she's going to, not just want to. She has a desire to fix that industry. Uh, okay, so hence the ability. Okay, so this ability is allowing Kamala Harris to view beyond the illusion and disillusion, beyond the Maya. So she has a gift to also to see through illusion, through the Maya, through the, what do you call it? The matrix, however you want to rephrase it. She could see beyond the barriers that people create these veils for us, false veils. She could see past all that. The illusion, disillusion, which it talks about, which is the karma for Pisces, which comes through information and knowledge, perfect information and knowledge, which is self-actualization, self-realization, experiencing the ah. So everyone has their skeleton in a way. Latter years spent in places far away. But for now, the good point is this: she's got a lot of work to do before then. That's years, more years from now, more years added to her life. With I'm getting visions and insight. She and Doug, and I'm sure her children too. But she between the two of them, but she and Doug, her husband, first gentleman, Kamala Harris. Okay. Imaginative and stimulating leader. Okay, so she's going to be an imaginative, stimulating leader and president. Okay, so she has to battle confusion and misunderstandings in her affairs. Okay, which it says self-sacrifice is what I will require. So yeah, the sacrifice is the self-sacrifice, selfless, but it falls onto the family. It's why, like, right, it falls into the family. So their sacrifice. Kamala Harris, which okay, so the moon and excuse me, Neptune and the moon connection. Powerful imagination, yes. The power to dream. Interested in, and yeah, that's why she is makes a great private, like a where there's privacy and security and those elements, because she likes secrets and mysteries and things like that. The Has a strong need to create and yeah, artistic, a dreamer. We know that. Oh yes, she's protected though from self delusion because her Neptune um, allows like vulnerability and susceptibility, to schemes. So people who like try to prey on her, and they think that it's got like they can prey on her emotions or her connection to sensuality as a female. Oh boy, they are in for a big shocker because it says. this caused this, yeah, of course it caused naturally problems with, like, there'd be issues in business affairs and partnership affairs, etc. But the answer is this: the remedy, the prognostics is that Kamala Harris has her husband, first gentleman Doug. There you go. That was easy. And sympathetic, both apply, yes, empathy and compassion. Further, with compassion, she's warm hearted. Like in several, like in other places, it talks about Kamala Harris being warm hearted. Yep, she's warm hearted because she has compassion. A preference of, um, oh yeah, she's not yet self. Yeah, she likes time for self reflection as well. Um, that's part of the sacrifice, that there's no going to be much room for seclusion, uh, in a way. Um, but she and Doug and her family will go through this as a unit, as a whole, as like together, and of course we all are there as well. This is a big deal. Sun in Sagittarius, Kamala Harris, most adorable quality, that is her optimism. So now we know where her optimism, because she's always so optimistic. Like they say, they always try to go like the worst with her, and she always says something to the effects of, but she's like, he goes into this very dreamy, in intermediate space where she says like, we never give up, we never stop fighting. There's always a way. Like she always leaves, like puts that out there, and that undying optimism. It comes through her sun in the Sagittarius. Great that her hope, her torch, her torch, to, and her ability to carry that torch, the hope. Even in the darkest of moods, it says she views, there is a light that still shimmers. That is like bullseye. That's her. That's her. Therefore, confident about future prospects is quite genuine. Oh yeah, her, yeah, that coming from a very genuine place. That is really how she feels. Um, and prepared to remove all obstacles interfering with the plans. She's prepared to remove any obstacle, meaning if it's a person and feelings won't help, it won't help them through all of these trials. An explanation and forecast for the future Kamala Harris will have. So she will always have an explanation and a forecast about the future, even if she can share it or not, because sometimes she can't share it because it has to be private, or there's still some scenarios that need to play out before she can. But she there is an explanation and there is a forecast. So she has a plan. She has a plan. She has plans. She has plans. She has a plan and she has plans, and she's ready to execute those plans at that. Um, the trust part, we're getting there. We're getting there. The hope part, we're there. We're there. We're excited. We're at the edge of our seats. We're in action mode. That trust part, we're still talking about that. So let's keep on going. It says that she is meant to be the first responder, one who volunteers help. So she's a first responder and volunteer help. I believe that also she admires responders, people who respond and act impulsively, because that's exactly the nature of her heart. That's what she would do. Actually, those folks are after her own heart or her soul group. And of course, there are other areas where I think I even have it in here where she does praise, but it was, it says it in the other ones too. Like she praises people openly. By the way, she's really big into that. Like if you deserve that praise, that pat on the back. And she talked about, she went into this a little bit more in detail. She says that she doesn't like people who are yes people. She likes people who come in and but come in prepared, in quote, but yet paraphrase though, and ready to like solve a problem. Yeah, so yeah, that's how she moves. She will be under regal Jupiter and just, yes, regal Jupiter and just. The justice, Jupiter, um, uh, colleagues and friends appreciative in her willingness to do favors, to help them, a time of need and things, align with them, work with them. The Republicans who she's going to be working with, she's inviting a Republican to work, to take on in her cabinet, etc., serve in her cabinet. She is frank, and people appreciate this too. So she's frank, and then people appreciate that side of her too. This is where the vibrations come from, where something, uh, Kamala Harris, to be fickle, um, undependable, a bit too detached, even. And that's the reason why some people will think that, because it's opposite of what they're imagining she to be like. But, however, this is what the remedy is. Compassionate Kamala Harris represents hope or possibilities. Kamala Harris is viewed as an unpredictable, independent spirit. She can't be predicted. That's why they don't trust, because they're like, I'm trying to put boundaries on you, limits on you. You're women. You're female. Like, okay, how are you doing? Like, okay, how you intend to do that? Like, tell me your secrets. Like, no, look, Kamala Harris is viewed as an unpredictable, independent spirit. You just have to let her do what she does. She's already downloaded with the information. She's already researched, studied it, taught it, all of that. Like, when she's ready to share it, then she'll share it. Of course, the mantra, seven times seven times seven, willpower, determination begets trust. Willpower, determination begets trust. Willpower, determination gets 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 trust. And to be restricted or living in a society without democracy sounds and looks very depressing to Kamala Harris. So, and to be restricted or living in a society without democracy sounds and looks very depressing to Kamala Harris. Besides, crisis brings the best out of her. So, times of crisis, like right now, what's going on with Florida and the hurricanes and everything else going on in the world, that is reproductive rights, all of that. Those are crises, like health crisis. Crisis brings the very best out of Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. Grand and wonderful ideas for an adventurous career, or carving out a utopian life, or helping the world become a better place. That one caught my eye because it was okay. Grand and wonderful ideas for an adventurous career, or carving out a utopian life, or helping the world become a better place. That's what everybody is assuming that they inherit the role, say that they intend to do. Here in her astrological is stating what she is going to do, what she's about, what she's doing, things like that. I love that sentence there applied to Kamala Harris, vice president. She likes to be called. Okay, so the sun in house 5. Okay, so this is the area where she has to go in and assume in that space, actually. Well, her sun is in there. Now, remember, this is a formula. So you would say, well, if the sun is in her fifth house, well, remember, this is in the fifth house. Doesn't make her a Leo, okay? Doesn't make her Leo. So the sun in the house 5, which is the vitality, individuality, energetic, innovative, okay, fond of pleasure and good living, art, theater, sport, sociable interests, um, partners in business, lucrative, in addition to generosity, by way of giving back or reciprocity. But this is different in terms of reciprocity. For her, it represents as it applies to one's self or herself. So it's like she's giving back. She's the one giving into the reciprocity to others, giving to others into community as she intends to do. She understands reciprocity. Joy, okay, she has joy of children. Her pride, sometimes it hangs or weighs very heavy over love relationships. She's very passionate, protective. That's good. Okay, so the last piece of this, ooh, we made it through the end. We made it through it, which is the sun and her moon, and then I will close. So Kamala Harris, it's a well integrated personality, adaptable to others, tends to have harmonious home life. Okay, gets promotions, you know, get promotion. Kamala Harris will obtain a promotion in her career 2024. That's correct. She sure will. Inner conflicts, yes. We understand why. Like it's about herself, you know, like what like insecurity. The actions are contradictory. We know why. Emotionally oversensitive, because it's not it's not really describing who she is, and she's not any of those. She's not contradictory. She's not fickle. And she's not insecure. It's that it really it does get to her when her loyalty is questioned. After all, her her connection to community is about loyalty. So, but they gave us the remedy. Willpower determination begets trust. Willpower determination begets trust. So through her willpower, through being determined, you know, she will get the trust. Conjunct. Okay, so thank goodness she's stubborn and self-willed. They refer to her as what they call it. Then they say that she is unpredictable, independent spirit. Thank goodness. Uh, Unbalanced, one-sided personality, deep-rooted habits. 2024 is about raising the awareness into consciousness for Kamala Harris. So yeah, so that's the section of that. And let's see. Let's look at her higher arcana card. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna look at her higher arcana and see what we gather here. This is her card, the Hermit. Mm-hmm. Though she is not alone, she is definitely not alone. But it is it signifies, you know, the Hermit or the Virgo also represents the woman. Isn't that so like in sync that the Virgo meaning virgin meaning woman meaning right woman female, and then uh, let me see. And then her neighbor is the woman who is next to the Leo and Lion, which, by the way, strength, which that's the power, in which uh, the debate is meant to happen in the fifth uh, um, fifth in the astral realm. Leo, the debate, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. Yeah, here and why. I mean, just everything's just like in sync. The synchronicities there, astounding, amazing. And um, yeah, so anyway, so I covered all of that, and that was what was the word that was in me today. And I will look at, because I gotta interpret. I gotta interpret. I want to do. I'll probably do Roland Martin, and then following this because this is fresh information with Kamala's. Then I'll do Roland Martin's, and then I'll do Donald Trump's, and then that'll tie up, pretty much. Because I wanted to see, like, because I know that right now she's entering into this space, and so it's like I'm making astrological coordinates that reflect she in this space, very important, necessary space, uh, for a very specific demographic. So we're doing that. But anyways, so this was exciting. I was so looking forward to this over the past 2 weeks. I'm so happy that I finally got it out. And yes, now it's what should she? Well, right now she's in the midst of experiencing the ascent. So over the next what? I'm not sure, like 18, oh no, 18, 17, 16 days, 16 days, something like 16 or 15 days, something like that. Okay. Well, that's it. Okay. Thank you so much.